It's so funny because I tease about this all the time, but it's kind of true. Like, I always have Faith Hill and Tim McGraw in mind when I'm writing songs. It's hard to not imagine Tim McGraw singing a song. Hi, I'm Lori McKenna, and I've written songs for Little Big Town and Carrie Underwood. And today we're talking about Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw because I wrote that.
Always stay humble and kind.
I would describe Humble and Kind, and I do this often, as a little prayer, as a lullaby that I wrote for my kids. So the day I wrote Humble and Kind was unusual because usually I'm in my studio, and I was in my dining room that whole day and never got out of like my yoga pants and like coffee everywhere. And I just was picking away at this really simple song, but just thinking about each one of those kids. But it was a day at home alone of me staring out my dining room window and praying for a good line. It did start with that light by the front door and the key under the mat. And at the time, I think one or two of my kids were out of the house by then, and that was really like our first experience of our big kids growing up and moving out. And it started with like, don't forget you can always come, back here. What chokes me up the most is when you get where you're going, turn around and help the next one online, because I'm the youngest of 6 in my family, and I'm going to get so emotional about this, but each one of my siblings, God, why can I not talk about this without getting emotional? But I've talked about it so many times, but my siblings helped raise me, and that's kind of how my kids have been, with one another, just sort of being there, and turning back and making sure the next one's okay. You got me going already.
When you get where you're going, don't forget, turn back around and help the next one in line.
The journey that the song had was, me spending, all these hours sort of picking it apart and making it my own. I sang it in my phone and emailed it to Tim McGraw, who really made the melody better. He really, he changed some really subtle notes in the chorus that really brought the chorus in a different place, and he made a hit out of this song.
Always stay humble and kind.
I mean, when I sing this song, like I said, it's a simple lullaby, and when Tim McGraw sings the song, it's a hit, and all those things had to happen for it to get to that place. So the first time I heard Humble and Kind, I was in the Sony Publishing parking lot, and I just cried. I just couldn't believe how big he made that song. I couldn't believe how beautiful and bold and just big it was. And then the next time I heard it was when Tim and Faith played at the Ryman. And they played it that night, and I got to go to that show. The first time I played that song for my kids was at the Ryman. I got to play the Opry, and my kids all flew in. And so there was like this full circle moment of Humble and Kind being in that room, and Tim just taking it to a whole nother world. The music video I saw early, and I saw Tim, before they went to film that, I saw him somewhere, and he said, yeah, I called Oprah, and I called Oprah and asked to use some of the footage from this television show she has called Belief. And it was like, oh, you just called Oprah and got some footage. Cool. I think that the video was perfect for what he saw in the song, and it truly was the polar opposite of what I saw in the song. I saw it so small, and he saw it so big, and it was crazy. It was, and that was all because of Tim. He's just been, they've both been so great to me, but Nashville in general and the community there and the love of songs that happens in that town has just been a life-changing thing for me. And yeah, it's crazy. I still pinch myself all the time. I do.